Hey, this is Aaron Rabinowitz for CreativeCow.net. So the other day my client asked me if I can animate an audio waveform so that as we hear an actor speak, we see some sound waves. Sure, I said, After Effects does this easy. I sent him a video of After Effects' waveform effects thinking that all was cool. It looks something like what you're seeing. Now this effect was generated using the audio waveform effect that you can find under Effect, Generate, Audio Waveform. You just apply that effect to any layer and then tell it which audio layer to use when generating the waveform. And there are a lot of parameters that can be changed for different looks. Unfortunately, one of the major things it cannot do is generate a rounded oscillating waveform. And of course, that's what my client calls me and tells me they want after they see the video. So after a sleepless night of trying to figure out how I could possibly do this, I had an epiphany, or at least as much of an epiphany as you could have with regard to animation. And here's what I thought of. After Effects has a distortion effect called wave warp, which, as you can see, warps footage in a wave-like fashion. What if I could generate a line, apply the wave warp effect, and then find a way to animate the wave to react to the audio? And I realized that After Effects has several tools that will help me with this, and in the end, it worked out perfectly. So let me show you how I did it. Here we are in After Effects with some audio that I'll be using as my source. First, we need to generate a line that will be turned into our wave. So let's create a solid layer by choosing Layer, New, Solid. I'm going to name it Sound Wave. Don't worry about the color, just make sure that it's the same size as the composition. Click OK to confirm. Now that we have our layer in there, we need to add a path to it. So I'll use the Pen tool to create a line from 2 points. So one point here to the side of the composition window, and then another one all the way to the other side. Now you want to create a straight line here, so if it didn't come out perfectly straight, no problem. You can use the arrow keys to move the last point you created. Then just switch back to your selection tool and click anywhere in the composition window to confirm your new path. Okay, if your path is not perfectly centered to the screen, you can just grab hold of the path and drag it to the center, or you can select the path with your mouse and use the arrow keys to guide it. Next, let's create our stroke. Choose Effect, Generate, Stroke. The effect automatically applies the stroke to the first path in your layer, and since we only have one, it's created a white stroke over our path. Now, you may not see it because it's only 2 pixels wide, but trust me, it's there. Let's take a look at the effects settings. I'm not going to spend too much time with them since it's pretty self-explanatory, but I am going to make a few changes. I'm going to click on the color swatch here and set the color to a nice scary acid green. Okay. Next, I'll set the size of the stroke up to 15. Now I know that looks a bit big, but next I'm going to set the brush hardness down to 0, which, as you can see, softens up the edges a lot and makes the stroke seem a lot smaller. Finally, let's change the paint style from On Original Image to On Transparent. This makes it so that the solid becomes invisible while keeping the stroke opaque. Basically, it allows us to composite the stroke over a background or other layers if we want to. Okay, now let's apply our wave distortion. With the stroke layer selected, choose Effect, Distort, Wave Warp. Instantly, we have a nice wavy line. A quick RAM preview and we can see that the wavy line is moving from left to right. I'm going to change it so that it's moving from right to left. In the Effects panel, set the wave speed to -5. A quick RAM preview and now it's moving in the right direction, or at least in the right to left direction. Okay, now we have to make it so that the wave responds to the audio. So, select the audio layer and choose Animation, Keyframe Assistant, Convert Audio to Keyframes. It may take a moment, but eventually a new layer called Audio Amplitude is created. With the Audio Amplitude layer selected, hit U to reveal all keyframes. As you can see, a lot of data has been generated and then separated into 3 separate effect sliders: right channel, left channel, and both channels. These keyframes are representative of the volume in the audio source, with no sound having a value of 0 and the values all rising from there. Next, I'm going to add an expression to the wave warp effect's wave height property, which will link it to the audio keyframes. In the effects panel, I'm going to alt-click on the wave height stopwatch here and as you can see, it adds an expression to the property here in the timeline. With all of the text selected, let's use the expression pick whip to get the wave height property values from the audio amplitude layer. Drag the pick whip up to the audio amplitude layer's slider called both channels. As you can see, it will automatically generate a new expression. Hit enter on your number pad to confirm it. This new expression, which you're seeing here on your screen, simply means take the wave height values from the slider found on the effect called both channels, which can be found on the layer called audio amplitude, which is located here in this composition. A quick RAM preview and you can see that it's working, and it certainly is curvy and oscillating, but it's not getting all that tall. In part 2 of this tutorial, we'll talk about how to fix that, and I'll give you a few hints on making this look a lot cooler. And if that weren't enough, I'll also introduce you to a powerful plugin which can really help improve the look and feel of this and other audio-based projects. Don't forget, you can get the files for this and other podcasts at www.creativecow.net/AE podcast. Once again, this is Aaron Rabinowitz for CreativeCow.net.